A local nonprofit organization hosts an annual event aimed to encourage volunteerism throughout the year in Polk, Hardee, and Highlands County. The charitable group and the details of this year's events are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Bill Skelton. Joining me in the studio today is Alan Turner. Alan's the president and CEO of the United Way of Central Florida. Alan, welcome to Polk Place.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Alan, I understand that you're new to the job. You've been working for the United Way of Central Florida for, what, about 6 or 8 months now?
Yes, sir. Came in July last year.
And how are you enjoying Polk County?
I'm really enjoying it. I've been all over Polk, all over Hardee and Highlands County, getting to know everybody, going to the events. It's been fun.
Right, and I believe you came from Tennessee before joining us here in Polk County?
Yes, well, Tennessee and Alabama. I was in Mobile, Alabama before moving here. This is my third United Way I've had the privilege of working with. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say upstate New York's where I call home. Good
deal. So you get around then. I'm from the Mid-Atlantic myself, and I found a home here in Polk County. And I've had the opportunity to interview people before regarding charitable organizations, and I've found that the people here in Polk County are very giving people. They're very supportive of charities and organizations, and I hope that you guys enjoy the same support.
Absolutely. People are warm and welcoming, not just welcoming me to the community, but they want to help. They want to help their neighbors, they want to help their friends, they want to help nonprofits that are doing good. And we really see that when we're out talking about United Way and talking about our partner agencies.
Well, speaking of United Way and some of the things that you do, I know that your tenets of your organization is give, advocate, and volunteer. Can you give us some examples of some of the needs that United Way serves here in the Polk County area?
Absolutely. Well, back almost 10 years ago, United Way Worldwide came up with the slogan, Live United. Hopefully a lot of people have seen our shirts. It's a simple motto, Live United. Well, how do you live united? You give, you volunteer, and you advocate. Well, give, I think people understand that. That's our annual campaign, giving through the contributions, and then we invest that back in our local community. Advocate, that's lending a voice. You know, talking about the good deeds that these nonprofits are doing. What are the programs? What are the services that they offer? Lending a voice, whether it's talking about it and sharing it, or actually advocating and helping people in situations. And then volunteering. And volunteering is a part that we're going to be increasing this year. By volunteering in your community, by volunteering with nonprofits. Something we've done many years ago and we're bringing back this year is what we call the Day of Caring. And in Polk, Hardee, and Highlands County, the United Way of Central Florida wants to bring back the Day of Caring. This year, we're partnering with Kiwanis clubs throughout Polk and Hardee County, and it's going to be the Day of Caring, April 15th, and the Kiwanis One Day, that's Saturday, April 16th. And what it is we work with projects with our partner agencies that we're already investing in local programs or services that we're doing. But on Friday, on our Day of Caring, we're going to have companies sign up as teams, and they're going to be able to go to our different partner agencies. It may be doing yard work. It may be helping painting or remodel inside that they need. It may be doing other hands-on work that they need done by volunteers that they can't afford to hire people to do. On Saturday, when we're working with Kiwanis, we're going to ask different clubs from schools, from the different colleges to come out and do similar projects, as well as having a larger community activity where individuals who want to help and come out can come out on Saturday and help volunteer their time in the community.
Now this Day of Caring, it's happening in Polk, Highlands, and Hardee County.
Yes, and Highlands County, they're moving their date to May only because of some logistics of the programs going on down there. But the reason we're doing it April 15th and 16th, that week of April 11th is the National Week of Volunteerism. You're going to be hearing a lot of it on national news, a lot of media coverage, and we wanted to keep the momentum going here in Central Florida. So we thought, what a perfect day that Friday, get our corporate partners. So it could be any company that has currently asked to do it, and if there's a company out there that says, no, we'd like to volunteer, contact our office. We'll get a team together. We may partner them with other people if they don't have enough, if they have a big enough team. We'll give them a project. They can help one of the partner agencies in our local community out that day and really join in. We're hoping to have a few thousand people over those couple days helping.
So you're actually going to have business or corporate sponsors paired with some of your other organizational partners.
Absolutely.
I know that United Way of Central Florida has a lot of other, I guess, organizations that you partner with to provide some of the services. And of course you need the support of businesses as well as the citizens and residents of the area. Can you tell me some of the businesses that will be participating in the Day of Caring, and maybe some of the organizations that might also be sharing in the event?
You know, Publix and Mosaics have always been huge supporters of the United Way and huge supporters of helping the community out.
Sure.
They'll have some teams out there that day along with other businesses that support our annual campaign. Places will be going like Achievement Academy or Boys and Girls Club or other agencies that are receiving our funding for, like I said, those programs and services that we're focused on. But a volunteer's hour to a nonprofit, people always try to put a dollar value on it. It could be $20, it could be worth $50, it could be priceless to these agencies, because that stuff they don't have time to do because they're busy providing those programs and services that they're intended to do. So maybe doing some yard work or painting a room where people are in all day, you know, just brightening up a room can bring a whole new presence to a program or service, or helping them with filing they have to do, or whatever it may be. But by volunteering, that volunteer then relates to what that agency is doing. They get to know that agency, maybe some of the people who are getting services from that agency. So it's not just a good deed and going in and feeling good, but you're learning more about what those agencies are providing the community as well.
Okay, so the Day of Caring is actually having some of your partner organizations to partner with some of these businesses to get these volunteers to help these agencies, these other charitable organizations, and for these volunteers or these businesses to get to know these other organizations better and some of the programs that they provide and some of the services they provide through the help with United Way.
Absolutely, and we're just trying to do it in a coordinated effort. We'll do it that one day so we can really get the word out there. You know, we'll be promoting it throughout the whole week. We want to promote the teams that are out there, and then of course thank all the corporate partners that come out. But it's really the agencies that just love getting to know the other people and sharing their message and their mission with the volunteers as well.
And I'm sure it helps to you know, grow the services that you can provide, you know, to the community at large, and hopefully, you know, these days of caring grow into you know, deeper, longer relationships between, you know, the volunteers and the businesses and these organizations that United Way helps support.
Absolutely. Well, like we mentioned, this is my first year here in Central Florida, but in my previous United Ways in Alabama and in Tennessee, we'd see relationships grow that went beyond that Day of Caring. You know, people would then be volunteering to come there on a monthly or weekly basis. Some of them join their boards and get more intimately involved with the organization because they were just so excited from the work they did during that one Day of Caring.
Well, it seems like a remarkable opportunity for you guys to, you know, get more involvement from the community, particularly from the business community, so they can help you support these other organizations. Now, I went on the website and saw like a directory, I guess, of some of the services that you provide and some of these organizations that you partner with. Can you give us some examples of how you work together with these other organizations to provide services?
Well, absolutely. Well, and I guess I should back up on what United Way actually does. With a lot of people think United Way is a big fundraiser and we give the money out to agencies. Well, once upon a time, that's how United Way started. We were the community chest, like that little spot on Monopoly, where people would give to the community chest and the community chest would fund the nonprofits. Well, over the years, United Way has changed the mission from just giving the money to nonprofits to what we call community impact model, where we partner with nonprofits, but for very specific goals. United Way's mission is to improve the lives in the community by focusing on the areas of income, education, and health. So we focus on nonprofits that can then show us, you know, measurable impacts and measurable outcomes that they create in the community through those programs. And I think annually we have more than 150 volunteers review applications from our partner agencies for what are the programs and services that they're providing, and then what is the ultimate impact they're doing. So volunteers take our collective funds that we've raised through our annual campaign and invest it locally in these programs. You know, some of them, like I mentioned before, maybe at the Achievement Academy, maybe at the Boys and Girls Club, we have 58 partner agencies throughout Central Florida. We invest in over 108 programs in just those 3 counties. You know, ways people can find those programs is by dialing 211. That is our Health and Human Service Referral Hotline. United Way helps administer, run, or manage the 211 system throughout the United States. We're responsible for Central Florida. People can call up and say, hello, my name is Alan. It's the 25th of the month and I still need food. Well, here's a food bank, here's a food pantry, here's somewhere you can go to get food. You know, hi, my utility bill is due, my rent is due, where can I go to get assistance? I'm an abusive relationship, I know someone who has an addiction of some type. We can get them the help, we can direct them. It may be a partner agency, it may be another nonprofit that's not a partner but we know provides those services, or it could be a government agency. But we want people to know about that number, because that will be an immediate direct to people who have the need to the services that they need. also during time of disaster. Being from up north, living on the Gulf Coast has been new to me, learning about the hurricane patterns. But it's not a question of when or if, but when the next
Sure.
hurricane or disaster will happen. We want people to know when they evacuate and they go someplace, dial 211. Fox, CNN, even FEMA will say, it's going to take a couple weeks to get that emergency disaster to your hometown, but when you go someplace safe, dial 211. They'll give you the local Red Cross. They'll give you a local shelter. They'll tell you where you can get food. And so in case of a disaster, dial 211 to find out those emergency services you need as well. So that's the most direct service that we offer. That 211 service is located right in our office, but it's a direct link to identify the services that are provided to our nonprofit agencies to the people who need those services.
That's a tremendous breadth of services that you guys provide, or at least the idea that you try to connect people in need with the services that can, best address those needs. Now, 211, is that a multilingual service?
Yes, sir. We do offer Spanish translation services as well. We have Spanish-speaking operators available, and we do our best if there's other languages to find other ways to translate it as well. But it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not just during business hours. We do have that line open, and we receive almost 35,000 calls a year on that number just here in Central Florida. But it is a nationwide number, so if people don't live in Polk, Hardee and Highlands, they can still call it because there is another United Way out there making sure the 211 service is operative.
Now, obviously, this doesn't happen without volunteers. Now, is there still an opportunity for people to join in the Day of Caring?
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons we want to be here today. We have reached out to companies that we have relationships year-round that we work with them, but it's open to any company. Any company that's interested can contact our office, talk to Scott Lonsberry, and he's coordinating the efforts in our office. Just say, if you call up and say, hey, I'm an individual, I'm a company, I'd like to volunteer, I'd like to learn more about Day of Caring, we'll connect them right with Scott. We'll make sure that we get them on the list and we get them involved and engaged on the 15th and 16th.
And beyond the Day of Caring, if people want to lend their services to the United Way of Central Florida?
Absolutely, they can call our office or they can dial 211. And say, hey, I live right here in Lakeland. What volunteer opportunities? We'll make sure we'll find out what are you interested in. Do you want to work with children? Do you want to work with adults? Do you want whatever area you want to work with? We will find opportunities that people can volunteer in.
So 211 is the number to call for everything.
Absolutely,
with United Way of Central Florida.
We will find what they're looking for.
Now, you were talking about some of these 58 partner organizations that you work with and some of the service solutions. And it seems to me that, like you say, you try to, support these organizations, through funding, and I guess with the idea of trying to actually make the best use, being good stewards of the funds that you're given. Can you give us an example of maybe how somebody's actually been helped through one of these service solutions, through one of these organizations that you work with?
Well, absolutely, and there's many. We invest in mentoring programs where people help mentor the children to not only stay in school but to excel in school. The transition from 8th grade to 9th grade is always difficult. There's dropout rates there that we don't track, and by getting them to transition successfully in 8th grade and 9th grade, they have more likelihood to graduate on time. And 3rd grade reading levels, we have what we have called a Reading Pals program, where right now we have more than 200 people volunteering in the Polk area, where they go in once a week and they're reading with a child. And it's not just helping the child to read, but helping them gain confidence in reading. Because 3rd grade is a very important level. You learn to read by 3rd grade, but from 3rd grade on, you're reading to learn. So if you're not reading on 3rd grade level by 3rd grade, you're going to start falling behind. So we want to make sure kids are better prepared. Right now we have a big push to get kids ready to go to school, in VPK and preschool, and getting them better prepared so when they do enter kindergarten, they're ready to start school, so that 1 or 2 children aren't holding back the whole class because the teacher's spending more time concentrating on getting them up to par and holding the whole class back. We want to make sure all the kids are ready, because the more prepared they are when they start school, they'll just keep that trend going, and the more likely are they to continue. So there's many individual success stories that we can talk about, children going through school or people using some of the other services out there. but it's really those individual cases that make the difference. And when it's all said and done, just getting one kid to successfully get into school, to be reading on time, to be graduating, to going on to college or learning a trade and getting that job right here in the local area, that's what it's about. You know, you can't have a good economy in 10 years if the kid's not learning in school. And the kids aren't going to learn in school if the family's in crisis or has issues, or the parents don't have jobs or have that job training. So there's a vicious cycle. It's all tied together. But if you focus on education, income levels, financial stability, and the health, if we work on those three and move those three successfully, the entire society will move successfully.
Right. I'm glad that you mentioned education, income, and health, because I know those are quality of life issues that United Way of Central Florida is very interested in making a positive impact on the people with those needs here in Polk, Highlands, and Hardee County. So, gosh, we could go on much longer discussing all the things that the United Way of Central Florida does for the people in need in our area. I certainly appreciate the time that you've given us today, Alan,
right.
And come back again and we can talk more about the good things that your organization does.
Well, I appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Fantastic. United Way of Central Florida invites you to join them for Day of Caring, Friday, April 15th and Saturday, April 16th throughout Polk County. The event is free to participate in. Day of Caring is an annual event meant to encourage volunteerism throughout the year. This year's Day of Caring is once again enthusiastically supported by Polk, Hardee, and Highlands County businesses and volunteers. Hundreds of volunteers will take on improvement projects across all three counties. After the morning work, participants will gather for lunch and awards. For more information or to volunteer, call 863-648-1500, that's extension 241, or look them up on the web at www.uwcf.org.